Hi, it's Verl Workman here, and we're talking teams today. We're talking about the real estate market. And my question to all of you is the real estate market shifting as much as you think it is? Is the market down as much as you are? Are you more down than the market? What a great question to ask team leaders right now. It's interesting that in every single market across the United States where we have a coaching client, which is most, we have some agents that are down equal to the market, some that are down more than the market, but the vast majority of the people that we coach at Workman Success are outperforming the market. For example, in one market it might be down 20% and our team is even as they were last year. That's 20% difference. In another market, I have a team that's grown 25%. That's a 40% swing. So what is it about the difference in why teams are growing in a market that's shifting and other teams are doing exactly the same, or maybe a little bit worse than the market? The reality is there's going to be 1 million houses fewer sold this year than were last year, if not a few more. Whatever that number is in your market, you have to decide. Do you want to be on the giving up of market share side, or do you want to be on the acquiring market share? You have the ability to choose, because a lot of agents, when the market shifts, they like to pull back their marketing. They like to stop spending money on geographic farming. They stop doing open houses. They stop doing the virtual tours and the Matterport tours and the floor plans and the things that make their properties look better. They pull back and they start saving on things that actually are designed to generate real revenue. The choice is actually yours. So I'm going to ask you again, do you want to be on the side where you're gaining market share, or do you want to be on the side where you're giving up market share? For me, it's a simple choice, because I like to say that my boat runs on gas, not on things. What I mean by that is, without the revenue coming in to be able to enjoy the lifestyle that I love, that means that we have to stop doing things that we really enjoy with our friends and our family, whether it's a date night or whether it's going out as friends or whether it's just going out traveling a little bit. If you don't have the financial resource to do it because the market is shifting, you do have the ability to choose. You can't control the market. It's going to go up and down, but you can control the activities you focus on. One of the things we've learned that today it takes almost 50% more dials to close the same number of transactions it did a year ago. So if you're doing the same work you were doing a year ago, hoping you were going to get the same result, the answer is you just aren't. That means you have to do twice as much work in order to get the same amount of income. The good news is it means that you can do less fake work and more activities that generate real revenue and really focus on dollar productive activity. So what are those things for you? The way that you feel about the market that's causing you to pull back as the same way that your buyers and sellers are feeling about the market. They're listening to the news. If it's not negative, they don't produce it. And so now they have this situation where they've decided to just sit and wait. The way that you talk to them, the way that you communicate, does not move the needle unless you're positioning yourself as an expert in real estate, as an expert in having and doing something different. We've created a series of modules called shift modules, and I've talked about them in different videos where I've given you the interest rate offset program and different things that you can use to communicate to the marketplace. One of my favorite shift modules is the Verified Contingency Sell program. Now I hope you recognize the name that we give them, the Verified Contingency Sell program, because that proprietary language of Cleve, as Cleve Gaddis calls it, is what separates you from everybody else. Giving your systems and programs proprietary language, giving them names, really sets you up to be a differentiated agent. It's no longer your big hair and your big car that makes you amazing as a realtor. You have to be the best in the business. And the way we communicate to our agents says a lot. Now, I'm all about giving somebody a jar jam and keeping it at the front of their mind. But is that really how you want them to remember you? Or do you want them to remember you as someone who really actually makes a difference and knows real estate better than anybody else on the planet? Are you positioning yourself as a knowledgeable expert that can help them if a contingent offer comes in when you have a listing? So let me give you an example of how that might work. As a listing agent, when you list a property, today more offers are coming in that have a home to sell. When they have a home to sell, it's called a contingent property. You do a 72-hour clause if that's available or legal in your marketplace, and then you give them the ability to continue to market the property until another offer comes in or until it closes and they get their property sold. With the contingency sell program, how do you communicate to your seller that you're only going to accept a contingency, because it changes on how the market looks at that property, if you've gone through a process? We call that process the Verified Contingency Sell Program. If you're representing the seller, we give you 11 specific things that you go through from a contingency checklist perspective. Let me share some of those things with you. Is the home currently listed? Is it priced correctly? Is it being marketed adequately? Does it have exterior and interior appeal? Like, are all of the things that are necessary, and there's 11 of them total, that we actually go through to verify when an offer comes in. You sit down with your seller, you look at the offer, you look at your verified contingency sell checklist, and you go through it with the seller. I'm telling you, when the seller experiences that with you, they are blown away at your level of professionalism and the fact that you actually have what? A verified contingency sell program. That verified contingency sell program separates you from every other agent. So where would you use it? You'd use it during the listing presentation to make sure that your client knows that if a contingent sell comes in, you've got a plan for it. You'd use it when the actual offer comes in to actually go through the checklist. And of course, you'd use it when you're negotiating with the buyer on the other side to let them know that you're going to be going through the verified contingency program. A couple things happen when you do that. You send them a copy of your list. You ask them to go through it with their agent. Their agent recognizes that great list and wishes their agent had something like that. There's so many things that happen when you use a system with proprietary language that separates you from everybody else. The next side of that is we actually have a verified contingency sell program checklist for a buyer presenting an offer that's based on the contingency of selling their home first. And so as a buyer, when you present your offer, what are you doing to make sure your offer actually has the meat in it that it needs to get the seller to consider taking it? Well, we created the buyer checklist for a verified contingency sale. It's the things that are in the seller one, but there's a few things that you can do to put your property and your buyer in a position to give him an unfair competitive advantage and at least get it considered. Whether you're the buyer's agent or the listing agent, it doesn't matter. Whether you have a system or not to help clients come together to get the property sold so each one of them feels like they won, that's the power of a great agent, and that's who I want you to be. So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to ask yourself this question. Look at all of your systems, all of your processes, and say, am I using proprietary language? Do I give everything a name? Number two, if it's something that I do 3 times, have I created a system for it? Number 3, am I putting my buyer or my seller in the best position in a contingent related transaction? If the answer is yes, you keep doing what you're doing. If the answer is no, then I'm going to encourage you to download the Shift module, the Verified Contingency Sell Program, read the story with your team, go through the checklist and practice it, go through the scripts and the dialogue, and then implement it in your business and watch what happens as your team grows and you start winning more of the competitive situations you find yourself in. Use the Verified Contingency Sell Program and have fun becoming the master of messaging in your marketplace.